Welcome again, and thanks for joining. I'm Brandon from Local IQ, and I'm excited to walk you all through everything you need to know about Google AI Overviews. And so that's the title of our webinar today, Google AI Overviews, everything your business needs to know. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Before we dive in, let me give you a quick rundown of Local IQ. We help businesses every day improve their online presence through smart digital marketing strategies. And one of our specialties is SEO, search engine optimization. In fact, we're recognized as SEO Agency of the Year by the UK Agency Awards. We're very proud of that honor, which also means that you can be confident in knowing that you are in good hands if you want to rank higher in the search engines, attract more visitors, and ultimately drive more business when you are working with us here at Local IQ. Before we get too deep into our content, I do want to take a quick survey. Let me just action this survey really quick so that way I can get a better understanding of everyone's level of understanding of Google AI overviews and things related to SEO. So for those of you who are on the webinar live, you should see a poll pop up on your screen with just 3 questions. If you could take a second and put your answers through, that would be great. The first question is, how familiar are you with Google AI overviews? The second question is, how familiar are you with SEO? And then the third, does your business currently have an SEO strategy? And you'll find that through what we're talking about today around Google AI overviews, it really does impact and work synonymously with your SEO. So it's really good to see who on the call has familiarity with SEO as well as a strategy with and for your business. So if you can go ahead and take that, I see some results coming through. Awesome. Leave it open for about 30 more seconds for everyone. So if you haven't casted your response, please do so. All right. Looks like we've got a good number here. And so let me go ahead and cast the results here. All right. Cool. So we have about 80% of the individuals on today's call are beginners when it comes to Google AI overviews. So a lot of this will be very new and fresh for everyone. That's good to know. Most people here are familiar with SEO, about 80% here. So that's good. So 80% have familiarity with SEO. However, 80% are still learning about Google AI overviews. Not bad, because Google AI overviews is something that's fairly new. Within the last few months, it's really started to take effect. And then about 73% of the individuals on today's call do currently have an SEO strategy. So that's very good that you have an SEO strategy. And we found that individuals who have a SEO strategy typically go back to their strategy at least once per quarter to evaluate it and to just make sure things are working as appropriately as they should. So that's good that you have a strategy, and hopefully it is a living strategy, something that you do go back to on a regular. So thanks for participating in that poll. We'll go back to our regular content here. Today's webinar is the second session of our new SEO Masterclass series. And so if you haven't done so already, I encourage you to save your seat for our next 2 sessions. Many of you registered for all 4 sessions when you signed up for this one. So if you're one of those people, don't worry, you don't have to do anything but show up on these days. And you should have already received a calendar invite. But if you haven't registered for the other sessions, I encourage you to do so. And one thing to note is that all of the sessions, including this one, will be recorded and be made available on demand. So even if you can't make it live, still register and then be on the lookout for the replay in your inbox. During today's webinar, here's what we're going to cover, about 4 or 5 things. We're going to answer some key questions. What are Google AI overviews? What do Google AI overviews mean for business? How do you monitor if you're losing website traffic? And then I'm going to leave you with 3 tips so that your business can succeed in this AI-driven search results world or era that we're in. And then I'm going to close out with some Q&A. Uh, Again, I'm Brandon Griffin, Interim Marketing Director here at Local IQ, and I'll be your presenter for today's webinar. And as I mentioned a few moments ago, today's webinar is being recorded, and you'll receive the recording and the slides in your inbox within 24 hours. So if you have any questions as we move through today's content, feel free to send it through in that Q&A or chat area, the same area you just introduced yourself, and my colleagues in the background will do their best to answer your questions, and if time permits, I'll answer as many questions as I can live as well. But again, don't fret over taking notes feverishly, because you will get the recording and the slides within a day or so. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump in. The first thing we're going to cover is, what are Google AI overviews? And so, every day, more than 8.5 billion search engine searches are conducted every day. 8.5 billion. And most of them are happening on Google, although Bing is a huge contender, as well as a few others. And, I would say, just think about your own daily routine. I mean, how many times a day, a week, do you find yourself thinking about a question that you'd like to know the answer to, or you think of something that you need for your home, and then the next thing you do is probably go to your computer or you pull out your cell phone, and what do? You type a few words into search, and then off you go. You're exploring different websites, you're getting your answers, and you're filling your online shopping cart too, probably. But when it comes to, let me go to this slide. When it comes to searching on Google, there's a new feature that started to take effect widely towards the latter part of 2024, and that's called AI overviews. Now, AI overviews particularly is useful for queries where users need quick answers, but sometimes they may also want some detailed follow-ups. And these overviews summarize key information from a variety of web sources, and in some cases, they offer direct links back to the website that they got the information from for deeper exploration. Sometimes you'll start to see that a little bit more. And so you'll see an example on the screen of what some of these environments look like. And so AI overviews typically is at the top, and then the general results are at the bottom, which can be either paid or organic search results. And this differs from traditional search engine result pages that you're probably used to for the last few years, because instead of getting a summary because instead you're getting a summary of what you're looking for and what you're needing right here at the top. Whereas uh, now you can say, almost back in the day, when you would conduct a search, you would get a listing of like 10 to 25 different websites, and then you would spend hours going from website to website trying to find out which one is going to give you the best answer that you're looking for. So now it's trying to give you the answer right at the top. And so this can be great for us as users, but for a business, it can become a bit more problematic because it presents a problem. And that takes me to the next question. Well, what do Google AI overviews mean for business? Now, as with anything search related, Google AI overviews could have both positive and negative impacts for your business. And it'll depend on your current SEO strategy and the content that you have on your website. So it's good to know that 80% of the people on today's call do have somewhat of an SEO strategy. So you're in good shape there. But it's also particularly a drastic change when it comes to search engine result pages. And it may be a while before we can really see the impact of what this is going to do for businesses and their websites, because this is a feature that's still being rolled out. But what we suspect here back at Local IQ is that businesses will see an increase in impressions from their search results because AI overviews is creating multiple, um, it's creating its output from multiple sources, meaning there's more opportunity for your website to appear on page one alongside these results that are coming up. But also, businesses probably will see a decline in clicks because of the fact that the users can get the answers that they're looking for right on this page. So let's look at this a little bit more deeply. We're talking about the positives and the negatives of AI overviews as it relates to businesses. So some of the positives here. Number one, as I just mentioned, but just to kind of cover it a little bit more, increase visibility and traffic. One of the key advantages of appearing in an AI overview is the potential for having that increased click back to your website. AI summaries appear at the top of the search results, so that's a prime position that could drive traffic to your website and then potentially increase customer acquisition. Additionally, being included in these overviews lends to your credibility as a business because the content that Google is showing at the top is sourced from a reliable and authoritative uh, source of information. So if you're showing up there, you benefit from that as well. Another positive is user engagement. AI overviews encourages users to explore content in more detail, which could be of benefit to your business if you have comprehensive resources on your website, or if you are servicing a very niche industry or you have a niche type of an expertise. And so Google AI Overviews is more interactive. It's more of an interactive experience than just showing people the top 25 website results, right? Because it's getting people a summary of what they're looking for, and it's probably asking them a question like, is this what you're looking for? Or can I help you take the next step? Sometimes instead of having to click over to images or shopping, it'll bring those results right up into the feed. So again, it's less clicks that a person would have to do so they can become more engaged in whatever it is that they're looking for. And then the third positive impact is that with AI making complex searches is becomes easier, and so you no longer have to focus on when you go to Google or you go to Bing, you no longer have to focus on just typing in 3 or 4 keywords. You don't just have to type in red cars for sale. When you're a user, you can talk to Google through your phone, and you can talk like 3 paragraphs of information telling Google the type of car you want, why you want that type of car, what you are going to be doing with the car. And then Google has the ability to understand everything that you're saying and then take action on what you've requested. So it has the ability to take in more complex requests from users. So those are 3 positives. 3 negative impacts that AI overviews can have on business. On one side, we have increase in traffic, and then on the other side, we have a reduction in traffic. So whilst AI overviews has the potential to bring an increase in traffic to your website, it doesn't mean that it can't lead to a reduction as well, because sometimes it can provide so much information that the user's need is satisfied already at the top. So, for example, if a person is typing in how to bake a cake, if Google gives the person all the information that they need, the recipe and the ingredients at the top, that user doesn't have a need to search into or click into that business's website. And so what we call that is a zero-click search. A search was conducted, but then they didn't click, so then it becomes a zero-click search. In fact, there was a survey conducted, and they found that 60% of searches, nearly 60% of searches, in without any clicks at all. So people are finding information that they need without necessarily having to go to the business website. And so that might be a reason why some businesses are experiencing or will experience a decrease in their traffic. The Second reason that this can have a negative impact on businesses is impact of content ownership. And so Google, Bing, and all of these search platforms and AI tools need information and need content to train their systems on. And sometimes they're getting that information from different business websites. And a lot of times they aren't attributing whatever the responses they're giving to people back to the websites that they're getting the information from. So the businesses aren't getting credit for providing that information. So that's a huge disadvantage. And then one last one, greater competition for SEO is another way that AI overviews will have a negative impact on businesses. And so, bigger businesses that already have robust SEO strategies in place will have an advantage over smaller businesses who may not have the time or resources required to regularly like review or optimize the performance of their content. But hopefully that's not anyone on the call today because, like I mentioned, you all have 80% of you all have a strategy, and you're in the right place today. You're at the right place at the right time, learning information so that way you can make sure your strategy continues to be competitive. But for individuals who aren't doing that, bigger businesses will begin to start to have an advantage, especially competitors in your same space. So now let's look at another question. And I know I may be going a little bit fast. We've got a lot to cover today, but rest assured you can watch the replay later on at your leisure as well and slow this down and go at your pace if you like. So the next question we're going to look at is something that we get all the time here at Local IQ from businesses, and that is how do I monitor if I'm losing website traffic or getting more website traffic, especially as a result of Google AI overviews. So two free tools brought to you by Google can be very helpful, and those are Google Analytics and Google Search Console. Now, they're separate tools, but when you use them together on your website, you can unlock so many great insights and reports, including how much traffic is coming to your website from organic search and what keywords they use as well. And so in these tools, you'll be able to track some key metrics that will help you measure the success of your digital marketing, including your SEO strategy. Now, in a moment, I'm going to show you, kind of do a show and tell and show you how to go and where to go in these two tools to track your website traffic. Now, the hard part sometimes of using GA4 and Google Search Console may be installing it on your website. But it doesn't have to be hard. Just talk with your website designer and they may be able to set it up for you. And if you don't have a website designer or you still have questions in that area, just reach out to Local IQ. We've got a website design and a digital advertising team that can help you as well in that space. So let's look at how to monitor Google Analytics, or how to monitor our website traffic in Google Analytics 4. And so the first thing you'll want to do is log in by going to their website. And then once you log in, go to reports. You'll see it here on the left-hand side in the navigation menu. And then once you click on that, it'll expand out a little bit, and you'll want to click on user acquisitions right here. And then when you click on user acquisition, you'll get this report, and it groups all the traffic that's coming to your website like this. So you can see that this particular website gets traffic from a display advertising campaign. Some people come directly to the website because they know the URL, they know the website address. And then you also have a lot of people who are coming to this website from organic search. And then it looks like this company also has a paid search strategy, a PPC campaign. And so these are all the different ways people are coming and finding this particular website. But today, we're talking about monitoring traffic especially if we're losing traffic from organic search, when it comes to like Google AI overview. So what I want you to do when you replay this and you try to do this on your own, is to deselect everything except organic search, and then click plot rows right here. Click plot rows. And then when you do that, you'll see a graph that just shows one line, and it'll look a little bit like this. So this is just the organic search traffic by itself. And then the next thing I want you to do is to change your date range right there in the red. And when you change your date range, I'd like you to change it to 12 months. Okay. Now, once you change the time period and the time frame to 12 months, you'll see um, you'll see a chart like this. And this is 12 months of data, and it's quite busy. So then I want you to click up there to the day, and then we'll drop down and go to month. Okay. And when you click month like that, it'll bring you to this view right here. And so when you when you view it in month, it becomes a little bit easier to see the trends. And so here you can see that with this particular website, there was a decrease in traffic from organic search in May, right? And then there was another noticeable dip in December, right? But notice, it doesn't just drop. If you track this line, you can see that it's slowly getting to this low point. And so, that's where you as a business owner and a marketer, you want to be looking at your traffic regularly so you can track it and catch it before it gets to this low point, right? If you're tracking it, you should be able to see if there's something wrong with your website, etc., and you can catch it before it gets to this point. And then you can also see that it's starting to go down again from January to February, right there. So tracking website analytics in GA4 is really great because you can see things like this. You can see when you have peak months, when your traffic is really great to your website. You can see if there are things like seasonality. Maybe you're getting low traffic just because your product or service is just out of season right now. And then sometimes you'll notice something's happening and you'll investigate and find out that something's broken on your website. And so these are all great reasons to track your website analytics and Google Analytics for GA4. Now, let's take a look at how we can monitor traffic and search performance in Google Search Console. This is the second tool that we're going to feature today and talk about from Google that helps you monitor your website traffic. So while GA4 is more focused on your website performance, Google Search Console gives you reports and tools related to how your website shows up in Google search engine. And so once again, when you log in, you'll see this overview report here. But what you'll want to do is click on search results right here. And then that will take you to a report that will focus on how your website is coming up in Google search, like this. And so what we can see here is this is data for the last 3 months. And the blue line are clicks, and the purple line is impressions. So impressions is how many how many times someone went to Google, searched for something related to your business or your product, and then your business showed up. That's an impression. Now, just because you showed up doesn't mean that people are clicking on your business. But if they did, then that's what this number is. That's what the clicks are. And so if you uh, come here, you'll see that information. And then when you do this on your own, you can also scroll down and it'll give you some insights to the keywords or the queries that people are using that your business comes up for, which pages of your website are showing up in search results, and then other stats like countries and the devices that people are using. But what I want you to do now is click on more right up here when it comes to the time, and then we're going to change this time frame, this date range to 12 months, so that way we can see some trends. And when you change it to 12 months, you'll get something like this. And so now you'll see we've got like 12 months of data here. And this business, within the last 12 months, showed up 35 million times in search results. Now, that's not far stretch, considering that, like I mentioned earlier today, there are more than 8 billion searches every day. Okay, so the fact that this business came up 35 million times within a year is not far stretch. Now, that means, with so many searches, people are searching. So the big question is just like, is your business coming up or not? That's the big question. But now when you look at this graph, there are 3 points that I want to call out your attention to. The first point is this peak here. So this is around March 2024. Remember, the blue line um, is clicks, and the purple line are impressions. So at this point, there were about 375 clicks, and the ratio and the click-through rate is exactly where you want to be when you compare it to the impressions. And so when you are looking at a graph like this, what you want to see is your clicks showing above your impressions like this, right? So that's the ratio, that's the click-through rate that you're looking for. Now, the second point that I want to bring your attention to on this graph is in like November 2024. And so what do you notice different about this side of the graph and then this side of the graph? What you'll hopefully notice is that now the purple line is higher than the blue line. So this business is getting a lot of impressions now, a lot of visibility, but the ratio of clicks and that click-through rate is much lower than it was earlier in the year. Now, why is that? One of the major reasons for this is because of everything that we've been talking about, and that is Google AI overviews. And so you'll notice that once AI overviews started to take more effect and become a little bit more popular in search engine results, this website started to see a shift. And this is because essentially the website was getting more visibility in terms of impressions, but people now had a little less incentive or need to click through to the actual website because they were getting all the information that they needed. So this is the positive and the negative impact of Google AI overviews that we've been talking about. Now, there is so much more that you can uncover in Google Search Console and Google Analytics 4, more than we can cover today. But if you want to learn more, we have a couple of on-demand webinars on our website where we talk about how to install GA4 onto your website and key reports that every business needs. So I encourage you, when you have time, either click the link in this slide deck when you receive it, or go to our website and you'll be able to access it there. All right, so now for the final section of the webinar today, I want to give you 3 hopefully quick tips to help your business succeed in AI-driven search results. The first is to focus your website content on user intent. User intent is so important. Now, one key strategy is effective keyword research. This isn't just about finding any keywords, it's about understanding your audience's intent. Now, when you do keyword research, there are a few things that you want to keep in mind. And those 3 factors are search volume, which is how many people are searching for that term or that keyword. Commercial intent, does the searcher show signs of wanting to buy, or are they just looking for information? And then the third factor that you want to look into is competition. and ask and look and see if there are any keywords that you can target that your competitors aren't focused on. And if you can find a sweet spot of keywords and a focus that they aren't paying attention to, they aren't bidding on, that can be a really good opportunity for your business. And so if you want more information about that, here's a good, helpful blog on our website that you can read at your leisure. And then one other thing that I want to share with you here is that there are typically four types of keywords that show intent that you should know as a business. You have informational keywords, and this is what users use when they're looking for answers about a certain topic. You have keywords that show commercial intent. And so this is what users use when they're comparing products and services before making a purchase. And then when they're ready to actually make a purchase and they're focused on buying something, that's when they start to use more transactional keywords. And then you also have navigational keywords that people use when they're looking for like a specific website or page. So now the important point and thing to focus on in this era of AI driven search is that Google AI overviews typically favors informational type responses. So that means when users see the detailed answers right on the search results page, they may not click through to your website. So if your goal is to drive sales conversions, it's so important to focus on transactional keywords, not just informational keywords, transactional keywords. So you'll want to focus more on keywords that include buy, for sale, quote, estimate, those types of keywords versus keywords like how, why, or what in your strategy. Okay. Um, Another another tip to succeed in a AI driven search results era is to create in-depth quality content. Now, search engines are getting smarter at understanding both context and quality. Okay. They favor content that thoroughly answers users' questions. And so if your business creates detailed, well-researched content, you'll not only meet the needs of the audience, but you'll also signal to these AI search algorithms that your website is a trusted resource that has helpful information. So let's break this down into um, perhaps like two powerful strategies. And the first you have is pillar content. Now, pillar content is your comprehensive, in-depth piece and content on a core topic. You can think of it as like a hub that covers the main ideas, offering a broad overview of just deep, valuable insights. And then you have topic clusters. These topic clusters are like groups of related blogs or articles that dive deeper into the subtopics connected to your pillars. And so here's a really good illustration. So think of this as a holiday, a travel agency type of a business. And so their topic cluster is Disney World planning. That's their big core topic. And then they have these other subtopics or other related blogs and things that they can talk about. And so on their website, they have this pillar page. And from this pillar page on this ultimate guide to planning your holiday, they link out to other pages on their website. So these are topic clusters, cluster pages. And so this is a really good visual. So I know this is very quick, but we've got this resource on our website. And in this webinar, I go into what it means to have a pillar content strategy in more depth. So how do you take this big topic, this big industry that your business is doing business within, find topics to talk about, and then break it down in ways that Google will understand, as well as in a way that will help convert these searchers into customers for your business. So two great on-demand webinars that are there for you. And here's the final tip. Using schema markup. This is something that can really help AI-driven search engines understand your website. And if they understand your website, it increases the likeliness of your business showing up in these AI overviews in the on the search engine result pages. And so, very quickly, schema markup is just a type of code that you can add to your website that helps search engines understand both the content as well as the context of your page. And so, if you use schema markup, you can provide detailed information to the search engine about your business, like your address, your phone number, your operating hours, and the products that you have, and any extra details that you can offer. Because when you offer that information to Google, when someone is searching for your hours of operation, if Google can quickly detect that from your website, then it'll feed that information to them right front and center instead of them having to click through your website. So using schema markup is a real good power tip for businesses to implement. Uh, if you want to know more about that, there's a good blog on our website that talks about it that can take you into that topic a little bit more in detail. Okay, I know we covered a lot today, but again, I hope that everything that we've covered has been helpful. If there is one thing that I would encourage everyone to do today, as you're leaving this webinar, I would say, a lot of what we're talking about, this Google AI overviews and the impact that it has on your business and on your website, it impacts and it dovetails with your SEO strategy. And a lot of people on today's call mentioned that they have an SEO strategy. So I'm going to put a link in the chat. And on our website, we have a tool where all you do is put in your website address and it'll give you within a few minutes, like a score for your website and your SEO. It evaluates your website across quite a few different areas. And so that's a good, helpful tool to use. And it's free, so it doesn't hurt to do. So let's just quickly recap everything that we talked about today. So these are very quickly the things that a business should know when it comes to Google AI overviews. Number one, Google AI overviews really does provide like quick, concise summaries of key information from various web sources directly in search results. That's very succinctly what Google AI overviews is. And it can both boost the visibility of a business, helping them come up in very prime positions on a search engine results page, but it may also reduce the amount of clicks that they're seeing come through to their website because visitors are often getting the information that they need without coming to the website. And so one of the things that we suggest is that businesses just kind of monitor their website traffic regularly. And two tools that you can use is Google Analytics 4 as well as Google Search Console. And then when you think about taking action and trying to be successful in this new AI era, especially when it comes to showing up in search results, since 8 billion searches are taking place every day, and you want to make sure that your business is coming up, what we suggest is you focus on user intent and make sure that you use targeted transactional type keywords. We suggest that you build a comprehensive pillar content strategy as well as topic clusters and schema markups. All of those things can be helpful to your business so that way you can be successful even as Google AI Overview starts to take more real estate on these search engine result pages. So that's very quickly everything a business needs to know about Google AI Overviews. In a moment, we're going to move to Q&A. So if you have questions, if you haven't put your questions in the chat, I want to encourage you to put your questions in the chat and I'll get them answered for you with the help of my colleagues. We'll do our best we can. Also, I'm putting into the chat just a quick poll. If you can let us know how you would rate today's webinar and content. Yep, if you can just do that survey, that would be very helpful to let us know how today was for you, as well as help us plan for some additional webinars. Speaking of additional webinars, remember today's webinar is the second of our SEO Masterclass series. And so we had one a couple of weeks ago. If you missed it, it's available now on demand. Just go to the website and register for it, and it'll come to your inbox. And then we have sessions 3 and 4 coming up in just a few weeks. And again, if you aren't able to join live, still register and you'll get it in your inbox. All right, we have a couple of minutes left for some Q&A. I think one person asked if they could download their SEO audit. You should be able to. And so when you go to the website, type in your website address, the results should be shown to you, I believe, and then they'll also be emailed to you as well. So just check your inbox and stay tuned to it. It should show up there. Another question that I see here is, let's see. Here's a good one. How to best manage SEO and engaging content when tightly restricted due to national and regional rules? Okay. That's a very broad question, but I'm assuming that perhaps this person, maybe your industry is like finance or it's health, and I'm hearing that you want to have a content strategy to help your SEO, but you're in an industry that's heavily restricted in terms of what you can and what you can't say. You've got both national and regional rules that you have to follow. So fair challenge that a lot of businesses have. So what I would encourage you to do is to try to focus on fully understanding your local regulations and try to message or try to make your messaging comply with those rules while you're still like engaging your audience. And so that might involve creating like localized content that respects whatever guidelines you have. You might just have to make sure you use compliant language. So like if you're speaking about finances, you probably can't guarantee people will get certain returns. And so just understand what those nuances are. And also you may want to, in addition to working with your copywriter, your writers, you may also want to just work closely with like legal or compliance experts to just ensure that the content that you're creating for your SEO strategy remains effective without compromising on quality or those rules. So very deep technical question there as it relates to regulations, but it's a real thing that businesses are experiencing. Here's another question. What can we do when our competitors use our name in their SEO? Okay, yep, we see that a lot of times too. So this is, for example, perhaps when you search your business name and then you see one of your competitors come up and you see that they have paid ads showing up under your business name. And so what you can try to do is start by like strengthening your own brand presence on the internet through optimized, authoritative, branded type content across your website and all of like your official channels. If competitors are misusing your brand name, sometimes you can reach out to them directly, or you can seek legal advice too, because sometimes you may have something that you can do to that end. And then sometimes we've seen it. Sometimes you do have to implement strategies where you're bidding on your own brand name keywords to just guarantee that your content ranks at the top of those search results. And I know you're probably like, well, why would I pay and bid on my own business name? Wouldn't that be a waste of money? Well, it would cost, however, it won't cost you as much as it would cost your competitor many times because Google will understand things like your business name and it'll see that on your website. And without getting too technical into the whole bidding technology, it'll make you have to pay a little less per click than it would a competitor. So if you need more help with that, just reach out to us here at Local IQ. We see it all day, every day, and we can support you there. Okay, I think that is most of the time that we have today. Again, if you will, just take a few moments to answer the questions in the poll and share your feedback with us. Let us know if you found today was helpful. We really do hope we really do hope that it was, and I appreciate you all taking time today to join our webinar. So I'll see you on the next one. Thank you.